Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Zed and welcome to this video. I do want to preface this by saying that I am under the weather, so I apologize for my less than enthusiastic demeanor. I haven't been feeling great. My back's been giving me some problems lately. I've been having some nausea and such, so just not feeling the best, if you know what I mean. But I want to start off, it's Monday right now for me. I want to start off every week with a weekly recap. I'm going to call it Last Week I Watched, and it's basically exactly what it sounds. All the movies that I watched in the previous week, all in one recap, and kind of giving just a very small review of each one of them with a star rating at the end. I do have a Instagram page called Watchin' Movies where I do post all my reviews as I watch them. So I'm going to put the little tag right here if you want to follow that. And basically I'm just reading off, or I'm just reminding myself of everything through that page. So yeah, I watched quite a bit this week. It's not going to be every week where I watch a lot of stuff. Sometimes I might watch one movie, 3 movies. Hell, some weeks I might watch 15. Who knows? It's just depending on the week I have. This week I do have a good selection of movies to talk about. And like I said, I'm going to try to keep them as short and sweet as possible. I don't want to drag this out too long. But starting off this week, I watched Ferris Bueller's Day Off, which is tied for my favorite movie of all time, tied with Jurassic Park. I love this movie so freaking much. Ferris Bueller is probably in my top 5 favorite movie characters of all time. And there's nothing I don't love about this movie. I love all the supporting cast. I love the music. I love all the comedy. No matter how many times I watch it, I just don't get bored of it. Next up, we have The Foreigner, starring Jackie Chan, which this one was a kind of a sleeper hit for a lot of people. I remember the trailer coming out, and I heard a little bit of hubbub for about a week or two after it, but it quickly kind of came and went. But for those who did see it, I heard nothing but good things about it. A career-defining performance from Jackie Chan and Pierce Brosnan. And I personally, I didn't grow up watching a lot of Jackie Chan movies, so even a lot of his more notable stuff, all of his action movies, I didn't really grow up watching too very much of it, and thus I don't really have much to base off of from him. But this dramatic performance he gives is absolutely gut-wrenching. This is a political drama with a bit of a twist. And that twist comes through Jackie Chan's character, and the story that unfolds around him and that unfolds around him with all the other supporting characters. But it's definitely quite the movie, and you will have several moments where your stomach is in your throat with just how impactful it really is. So that's The Foreigner, and I gave Ferris Bueller's Day Off, I gave 5 stars, of course. It's my favorite movie of all time. The Foreigner, I also gave 5 stars. Dolittle. It's a movie that not a lot of people liked. It's probably the worst reviewed movie of this year thus far, or at least one of them, starring Robert Downey Jr., his first movie not as Iron Man in quite a long time. This movie has not been reviewed very well by both fans or general audiences and critics. I'm here to say I didn't mind it very much. I did give it a low rating of 2.5 stars. But that's not to say that I hated it or that I wouldn't recommend it. It's fine. It could have been better. It could have been exponentially better. But honestly, for what it was, I just kind of allowed myself to have a good time. I was already kind of hearing all the hubbub or lack thereof for this movie. So thus, I kind of went into it expecting it to be horrible. And I was just kind of like, okay, yeah, that's fine. I enjoyed the aesthetic of the movie. I liked the set design. The CGI of the character of the animals I thought was going to be a lot worse, but it was also just kind of okay. It was pretty good. So if you want to go take your nieces or nephew or your kids, or hell, if you just want to go see this movie by yourself, I mean, just know that you're not going to see this incredible reimagination a reimagining rather of this character. It's just it's exactly the movie they set out it to be, which is a quirky talking animal family film. Next up, Jojo Rabbit, which just won the Oscar for Best Adapted Screenplay by Taika Waititi. And this is my buddy's favorite movie of last year. Up to the point of us watching it, he had already watched it 3 times previously in theaters. And he really, really enjoyed it. But the one thing I'll commend him on is he didn't overhype it for me. It wasn't he didn't have to bring in every conversation, and he didn't have to completely bury it into the ground that it's the best movie ever. He just kind of, every time it was talked about in awards or whatever, he was really hyping it up and, really rooting for it. But he allowed me to go into it with pretty much fresh eyes, and that's the best way to view it. I would say the movie is kind of broken down into 3 different acts, and I know that's kind of how a movie is structured already, but the first half is definitely like the monologue, kind of explaining everything, explaining the world, kind of setting up it's a different movie. It's a weird movie. And then the second act is definitely the comedic act, the haha funny quirkiness. And then the third act is just fucking brutal. It really, really is. It is so incredibly gut-wrenching and hard. And there is literally a switch you can see from the kind of quirkiness to the oh shit moment. And if you know the very impactful scene that makes that switch, then wow. And Jojo Rabbit, I gave 4.5 stars. Next up, we have, try to grab this out of here. We have Saw. I've been wanting to watch this movie again for quite some time. I'd only ever seen it once previously, and that was a couple years ago, where me and my buddy, the same buddy that I've been talking about, we watched all the first, I think 6 or 7 of these movies in one go on Halloween night. And this is definitely, I think, the best one out of all of them. Saw, I give a 5 out of 5 stars. It is a crime, drama, thriller, slasher. I mean, it's so much. The villain is absolutely outstanding. The story, it's very, what's the word I used for it? It has a very intimate setting. I'll just read exactly what I wrote here. Saw is an outstanding crime drama thriller, one of the very best in my opinion. It's a literal jigsaw puzzle disguised as a movie, with super compelling performances, intimate settings, and a great villain. Saw is a terrifying story, no additional adrenaline required. I stand by that tenfold, and I think the world of this movie, directed by James Wan of other horror movie acclaims and also from Aquaman. This movie is just, it's outstanding. Oops. Next up, we have Adventureland, which I also own right here. I'll keep this one short and sweet. I gave it 3.5 stars, so it's a very average movie to me. From the same people that brought you Superbad. I enjoyed it. It was fine. I enjoyed the relationship between these two right here. I enjoyed that I did feel like I spent time with them over a summer. It didn't really feel rushed. I felt like I was actually watching relationships blossom, and just how kids are, and they're very hormonal and all the different stuff that comes with that, and all the just the drama of being a young people. This is set in set in 1987, I believe. It's a good time. I enjoyed it. I wouldn't say it's funny like Superbad, but it definitely has some good comedic moments in it. It's an average movie. I enjoyed it. I would watch it again, but it would probably be a while. Next up we have, and the rest of these I watched yesterday, basically, so on Sunday. I don't own any of these, so they're all going to be right here. Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. I'm a huge fan of Kevin Smith. I love all of his movies, especially in this universe. If you enjoy Kevin Smith and his past work, you're going to love this movie. It is literally a love child of everything he has ever done. Everything is referenced. There's so many different cameos, and the one thing I was really surprised about, and I heard talked about by Kevin Smith, is how kind of emotional this movie is. Harley Quinn Smith and Jason Mewes give outstanding performances that really tug at your heartstrings, and there's several moments where you can kind of tell the acting is a bit, it's okay. They're kind of working with the dialogue they're working with, which is very much so pleasing the audience, and going like, oh, I understand that reference, but then there's some really dramatic dialogue that I'm just sitting there like, holy shit, these guys really can act. And given the right material, they're potent, to say the least. It really just made me tear up. But yeah, I mean, if you like those movies, then you'll love this. Silent Bob Reboot. It's funny, it's vulgar, it's cheesy, it's just everything you want out of a Kevin Smith movie. So highly recommend that. Gave that one 4 stars. And then Ready or Not, which is a movie that I heard a lot about last year, really high praise from a lot of different people. And I'm here to say that, holy shit, was that a fun fucking movie. I wanted to kill that entire family. I wanted to take an axe and beat them over the head with it. It was such an exhilarating joyride, full of so many twists and turns and so many crazy moments. And if you don't know the premise of Ready or Not, basically, it's a family that owns this gaming empire, and every time through marriage somebody's added, the person being married in has to pick a game, and basically there's a card they pick, and whatever card they pick, they have to play that game. And there's one card that if you pick it, then the entire family has to hunt you down and kill you, or try their best. And that's the hide and seek card. And yeah, it's quite incredible. The ending is a bit like, what the fuck? But overall, it's an outstanding movie. I highly recommend it. Holy shit. Great movie. I give that a 5 stars. 5 out of 5 stars. Next up, I watched Playing with Fire, starring John Cena. This is one that I saw the posters for. I never saw a single trailer, but the posters intrigued me. It just seemed like a fun family film, and I wanted to check it out. It was only like an hour and a half. I'll be honest, during the first, 20 minutes, half hour, I was really judging the movie and really trying to pick it apart, and I kind of already started writing the review in my head, and I was going to be like, oh, this movie sucks, terrible writing, the performances were lackluster, yada yada yada. But all of a sudden, it really started tugging at my heartstrings. And I'm a very I'm a very family oriented guy. And when those kids were just damn, they really started tugging at my heartstrings. And I completely did a 180 switch. And I turned out to really like this movie. I definitely cried. I definitely was grinning ear to ear with tears. It was an emotional, fun family film. I don't recommend it to everybody, but if it interests you whatsoever, I would say it's only an hour and a half. Give it a watch. If you don't like it, then you never have to see it again. But hey, I gave Playing with Fire 3 stars. Next up, we have Good Boys, which, holy shit, it's from the people that brought you Superbad, Sausage Party, and Neighbors, and it stars 3 young boys who have the most vulgar mouths that are put in the most insane situations, all to go to this kissing party. And wow, did I laugh my ass off. It's very hard. Like, I will giggle, I will snicker, I do love a good comedy, but it's very rare that you'll get me to really, really laugh hysterically. And Good Boys did that. It's a great story, not a great story. It's a wacky, fun story, filled with a bunch of scenarios and dialogue that I don't know how any adult on that set could have kept a straight face while those kids were delivering said dialogue and stuff. it must have been the best experience from both those people. And Good Boys, they gave 5 stars, 5 out of 5 stars. I highly recommend it if you give it a shot, or if you get a chance. Just it's so fucking funny. And then last but not least, technically I started this yesterday, but I finished it today on Monday. But I'm still gonna put it in here, and that is Knives Out, directed by Ryan Johnson. It's a Ryan Johnson whodunit. Absolutely outstanding. I don't want to give anything away, but what I will say are these 3 things, and it's in my review. Ana de Armas, I want to say is her name. Ana de Armas delivers an excellent career high performance. I absolutely loved her character and every scene she was in, which is a majority of them. I was completely glued. I loved it. Daniel Craig delivers one of the most memorable Southern accents ever, too. If you've seen the movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And then the set and music design was spot on, and really pulled together the atmosphere. This is a really star-studded cast. It's filled with a lot of people, but this movie does a great job at giving each person their time in the spotlight without oversaturating the movie. The main characters really are Daniel Craig, Ana de Armas, and I would say Chris Evans, but he's definitely he's definitely an in and out kind of character, but definitely probably the third, the third with the most screen time. Like I said, I definitely don't want to give anything away, because this movie really is a roller coaster ride. I did not expect where it was going to take me. I really enjoyed that. I gave Knives Out 5 out of 5 stars. But as of right now, guys, I am done. I am beat. I am not feeling the greatest, but I am glad I got this video out. If you've seen any of these movies, tell me what you thought in the comments down below. Sorry if I'm talking fast. Sorry that I'm so nasally, because my nose is all snuffed up. But thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this week 1, or this first week of what I watched last week, or something like that. It's a working title. I hope you guys enjoyed. But until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Peace.